Hey guys, we're Riffs here, and today we're doing what if Deku had kinetic slash potential manipulation. This is going to be one of my one shots, so if this gets to between 20 to 25 likes, this will become, from a one shot to a series, and it'll replace something else that hasn't been doing good or I haven't been making a lot of, because this is something that I want to do, and yeah, I like doing one shots because I made a bunch of thumbnails, and yeah. We reached 701 subs yesterday, so if you could please sub, that would be pretty much appreciated. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs before September, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And without further ado, play my intro. Now that's done, let's get straight into the story. We start off with a 4-year-old Izuku who's going to the quirk doctor with Inko. When they get to the quirk doctor, they meet up with, Dr. Yujiko, which that's the name of the doctor. It's All For One's doctor, technically. And there, Dr. Yujiko tells them that Izuku does have a quirk, which is new in this one, right? So Izuku is going to have a quirk. And he tells him that his quirk is kinetic slash potential manipulation. Technically, he has the power to absorb, transfer, and channel kinetic and potential energy. Kinetic being, energy that has energy because of movement, and potential being energy that has energy because of the way that it's positioned. Like if there's an axe, if someone puts an axe over their head, that's potential energy because it's energy caused because of its position. While kinetic energy is when the axe is falling, because that's energy caused by movement. And he has the ability to absorb this. If trained properly, he could become a very strong, if not the strongest hero. And then, this excites Deku. He's like, Mom, I'm going to become the best hero. And then, Inko's like, yeah, sweetie, that's nice. And they go home. When they get home, they talk and all that. And then we skip to the next day. Next day, he goes to Bakugo. Bakugo awakened his quirk yesterday, I'm pretty sure. So, Bakugo's like, look at my explosion, He asks Deku if he has a quirk, he asks Izuku, because, Izuku's still Izuku. Because, Izuku isn't quirkless, so he asks Izuku if he has a quirk. And, Izuku responds with, yeah, I have a quirk, Kachan. And, they ask what it is, he says that it's kinetic slash potential manipulation. And, they're confused by this, because, remember, Izuku is like a smart cookie in this. Well, I can't believe I just said smart cookie, but he is pretty smart. So he does actually figure out what it is overnight, and he's gotten the hang of it. So he starts to demonstrate, right? So what he does is he goes out, he tells everyone to go outside, right? Teachers go outside with him because they're allowing him to do this, during class time. He throws a rock up in the air. Everyone's asking him what he's doing, but then the rock falls down at higher speeds, and then he catches it, right? And when he catches it, you can see sort of orange veins going from that, go into his arm. This happens whenever he absorbs kinetic energy, and he then goes up to, I'm gonna say it's this separate wall, right? And he starts to power up his arm using the kinetic energy. And he throws this massive punch, right? It's like massive for his age, right? It makes a dent, but as a result, his hand's bleeding. It's like, that's such a cool quirk. But Izuku, your hands are bleeding. The teacher said that, right? And Izuku then does something that he didn't know he could do, right? By channeling more kinetic energy into his hand, or energy into his hand, he can speed up his healing factor, or it's naturally sped up. So he starts to heal pretty fast. And the blood is just, blood without a wound. And, everyone's amazed. Everyone's like, that's such an amazing quirk, Izuku. You can be such a great hero. Even, Katsuki's like, Deku, we're going to become the best heroes ever. Wait, not. Actually, screw it. He's going to call him Deku because, in this one, Deku's not going to mean useless. It's going to mean you can do anything. So, yeah, that's what they call each other. Deku and Kachan. He's like, Deku, we could be greatest heroes ever. Izuku's like, yeah, let's go, Kachan. And yeah, over the years, they've been They've been training. That's all. That's all I can really say. If you know what I'm talking about. Actually, what am I talking about? I'm just joking around. But anyways, Izuku's been training, and he can do a lot of stuff with his kinetic manipulation now, right? So he can absorb damage, kind of like the Nomu, using observation. Absorption. I can't say I can't say absorption. Yeah, to like absorbs things. So he can absorb damage. So that means that someone to shoot a gun at him. If he absorbs if damn it, I can't speak English. If he absorbs the kinetic energy fast enough, then it loses its movement, which means that the bullet doesn't hit him as hard as it should, which means that it doesn't pierce through skin, which means that he takes no damage. So he's figured out how to absorb energy from anywhere on his body. Even like he even created this kind of aura that he could use to absorb things before they even go into contact with him, which is beneficial for his quirk. He's figured out how to speed up his healing factor, and whenever he found out this type of thing, right? So by channeling kinetic energy or energy through his body, these orange veins start to grow, and they fade away soon after. But in return, there's this type of reddish lightning around him, and he can throw this lightning. It boosts all his power, but later on, learns that he can throw this lightning, kind of like how the Flash does it, but less running, which is amazing, right? And he has kind of put like a energy system on it because it does take energy. So the way that he counts energy is that he's like a battery, right? So if he's 100% full, then he uses like 10%, but that 10% only really takes away 1% of the battery. That means he can throw 10% punches 100 times. Wait. Yeah, he can throw 10% punches 100 times, and so on and so forth. But as he was growing older, his battery kind of grew larger, so he can throw 10% punches, like 10% all one for all punches using kinetic energy indefinitely, which means more than like 100 times, which is amazing. And then we have Katsuki, right? Katsuki's also been training, and he's learned how to impact a lot earlier than usual, and flash grenade. So yeah, he can now make his explosions bigger than usual, and so on and so forth. We skipped directly to the UA entrance exam. They're both walking in, but while they're walking in, Izuku sees a girl about to fall. So using his quirk, channeling some energy into his legs, orange veins appear, then they fade, but no one can really see it. He rushes in, and he catches her. But there isn't it's like this tiny wind, but it's not noticeable at all. And it was only around his feet. And when he gets there, he's like, "Hey, you're okay?" And he's like, "Thank you." And this girl being Uchako Uraraka, that's what she says her name is. She introduced herself, and Izuku says, my name is Izuku Midoriya." And they hear a bell ring, and he's like, we gotta get going. I'll see you later. And then, Izuku's like, yeah, see you later too. And then, he walks over, and, Izuku walks over back to Katsuki, and, Katsuki's like, deku, so you fancy round cheeks? And then, Izuku's like, what are you talking about? And, Katsuki's like, don't pretend. I saw you blushing. Because, they were both blushing. And then, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then, he's like, Izuku starts to, walk away. And, Katsuki's like, so you do fancy round cheeks. And he's like, Kacha. And then, Katsuki just, runs in. Because, Katsuki is generally the same stuff, it's because it's deku. So, yeah, pretty much because it's deku. So, they have a pretty good relationship. Moving on, they go in, they do the exam like usual, and Izuku, being smarter, he does actually pass the exam with full colors, and he was popular in high school, so there wasn't really any bullying, which gave him more time to study and train his quirk, and he also been training his body. Don't get me wrong, he's also been training his body, and so is Katsuki. So that means they're not pushovers in physical strength either. Without their quirk, they're pretty strong either way. So, oh, sorry, hiccups. How would I still have hiccups since like yesterday? But okay, it doesn't really matter. They keep on going, and Izuku gets first place, Katsuki gets third, second place goes to Momo. It's like that exam. So I have to admit, Izuku's pretty fucking smart. And then they go on, and he still has that muttering thing. So he is muttering about how he's gonna get to the exam, but he gets interrupted by Ida saying, "Hey, President Mike, there seems to be a fourth silhouette of a fourth robot. This is a mistake on UA's part, and I am severely disappointed." And he points to Izuku. He points to Izuku, and says, "Why are you Why are you muttering so much? Don't you know you're being a distraction?" And all eyes go on Izuku. I know Izuku, he's confident. He's confident. So he's like, "What are you talking about? Like it's only." It's like, "What are you talking about? It's only interrupting you." If you didn't read the pamphlet, you would have known that the fourth robot's the 0 pointer, something to avoid. It's an obstacle. And I'm muttering because I'm trying to figure out a way to pass this exam. So shut up. And then Ida's like, and then Prisma's like, "Thank you, young listener," or little listener, or whatever. And you could just nod his head, and then he's like, Prisma's like, "Yes, the 0 pointer is an obstacle. It gives 0 points as it says, and it's to run away from it. It's technically like a gigantic machine, technically." And then, everyone, nods their head, and, they go outside. Izuku's still wearing the same tracksuit as before. He's like, he kind of fits into it more. He isn't that short stack anymore. He's as tall as Bakugo. So, he does fit into it. He doesn't look like a scrawny. And, he sees Uraka. So, he tries to walk up to her. But, while he's doing that, he gets he gets blocked by Ida. I was about to say cock blocked, but hey, it's not happening yet. Or it might happen. It all depends if you guys actually make this a series. So yeah, they go on into that, and Ida's like, "Why are you trying to interrupt her? Do you really want to up your chances that much?" Izuku's like, "No, I know her, okay." And then he's like, "Ha, I doubt that." While they're talking, Uraka notices Izuku, so he walks up and he's like, "Ah, Midoriya." And then Izuku's like, "Ah, Uraka." And they're talking, and then Izuku kind of pushes Ida off of him. Ida's like, "You ruffian, you don't deserve to put my hero." Izuku just is tuning out Ida, right? So he walks over. He walks him and Uraka over near to the gate, and they start talking. He gives Uraka some words of encouragement, saying that she'll do just fine. This kind of makes her nervous attitude go away, and she's pretty happy to do this. Then the gates open, and I forgot to mention that Bakugo and Izuku are in different sections, so they aren't together. And Izuku rushes in, right? He's charged up like something akin to like 20% of one for all, red lightning coursing around him, and he's beating robots with mere ease, right? A few seconds pass, President Mike is like, "Go, go, go." Heroes, villains don't have countdowns. And then, everyone goes in. I'm saying Ochako went when, Izuku was also going, so, Ochako got, a few extra points too. And, Izuku's just destroying robots, right? So technically, he's found a way to keep like a sort of infinite supply, right? So he's using, the least amount of energy he can, while also absorbing energy from 0 points. Absorbing energy from the robots. So when a robot's about to throw a punch, he would like absorb it because potential movement energy, and then he would channel some kinetic energy into his hand. He would punch it, right? And then after that, that's what he's technically doing for the most part. And he still has lightning flowing around him, so he does start throwing lightning here and there to get some other robots, and he is able to absorb the lightning. The beams from the robots, since they are mostly like kinetic energy, so he is able to absorb those. So his quirk is like perfect for this, and he's taking like no damage at all. And he's gone. I dare say like he's past the hierarchy. He's gone 120 hero points. I'm gonna say All Might got only 115. So, they're all impressed. They're like, oh, wow, he's doing amazing. And then Nezu's like, let's see if they can handle this. And, he pushes this red button. We all know red buttons are never good. They're never good. Pushes the red button, and out comes the 0-pointer. And this 0-pointer is... I'm going to say it's like a bigger 0-pointer. It's like twice the size. Actually, no, I mean 1.5 the size, right? So, that's one big 0-pointer. And, everyone's like, oh, shit. And, they all start running away, right? And then, he's about to just walk away because, there's no point. But then he hears a scream, right? And then he sees that, it's, Uchaka. Everyone else heard the scream too because, he sees them, kind of perk up and, turn around. But, keep on running away. And, Izuku's like... And they say, he says Iden does not become a hero because Ida is also running away, and he runs up, right? He still has his lightning. Everyone's like, "What's that guy doing? He's gonna get killed." Everyone's like, he's so dumb, and the 0-point is just about to step on him, but right before it can, Izuku pushes his hand out and he absorbs all the movement energy, right? And how am I gonna say this? The potential energy, the kinetic energy that was coming off of the robot was immense, right? So he kind of overcharged his battery. This created a second battery, kind of. So he now has 2 batteries in him, which he can, absorb even more energy. And, this second battery is full because how much energy is in it. Technically, that's what happens. And then, Izuku's, he's feeling like the man. He's like, what's all this power? Because, and then, he decides that, he's gonna, he decides he's gonna start, going overkill, right? He pushes the thing off, and then, he pushes it back a bit, right? It still lands its footing on, it lands, it's still standing, and, it's kind of, it's trying to, try to charge up a beam, but, before it can, Izuku knocks up a piece of rubble, hits the beam with it, and, he grabs Uchako and runs away. While they're far enough away, Izuku starts to charge up even more of his battery, right? He's going 100% now. And, in a flash of red lightning, right? He's already at the robot, face to face. And remember, this robot's, bigger than the 0-pointer. So, yeah. He charges up his hand. And then when he hits the 0-pointer, it goes... How am I going to say this, right? So, technically, he hits it, and, it goes flying like usual. But because of so much electricity going through it, energy going through it, right? It starts to kind of crack inside of it. And, it more or less fudge. I can't remember. It more or less turns into, just pieces of debris and rubble everywhere. And, Izuku's falling now, his hand is bruised. This is more power than he's ever used before. So, he beats up the ceiling factor, heals his hand, and, he's approaching, pull off, like a downward smash, he keep himself up. But, then he gets, instead of getting slapped, he kind of gets, hit on the back. And then, he stays alive, floating, he was about to throw it, and he's like, huh? Here's why he sees Uchaka, he thanks Uchaka, Uchaka says, it's just fine. She loses that, she starts puking up, he goes behind her, pats her back a bit, saying it's okay. And then Prisma announces, and that's the test. It's over, guys. We didn't get enough points. That's tough. And when that happens, recovery goal pulls up, and she's like, anyone injured? She walks around, giving out gummies, and then, she reaches Uchaka, and he's like, ooh, dear, you don't seem too good. Your ankle doesn't seem too good, So, she kisses Uchako, and then, her ankle, Izuku's like, the recovery girl, right? I know, he's like, so you're heroes, kid. That's good. She walks away. Uchako, she thanks Izuku for saving him, again. And Izuku's like, it's good. And, he kind of walks out, everyone's in, pure awe of Izuku, because, he just, one shot the 0-pointer, And then he walks out, and then, When he walks up, he sees Bakugo and he's like, let me guess, that that big boom and all that lightning was you, right? And he's like, Kachan, you already know. And Katsuki's like, I should have expected that from you, Deku. But remember, okay, I'm always gonna be better. And he's like, you and your fucking god complex. And he's like, what did you say to me, Deku? And Izuku's like, you and your fucking god complex. You got a problem with it, bro? And Izuku's like running away, using his quirk while Kachan or Katsuki is blasting after him using an explosion. It's like, come back here, you damn Deku. And yeah, that's how I'm gonna end off this one shot. I hope you enjoyed it. It was like a bit short, I'm pretty sure. It's like only like 50 minutes. I mean, it's like only around 20 minutes. So yeah, I think you guys even made it this far. Please like us up in the bidding, like and subscribe. We're only like 299 more subs to 1,000 subs. So yeah, the next video is probably gonna be what if Deku had Megumi Fishuo's or was Megumi Fishuo's reincarnation. I have that. I'm probably gonna do that like right after I do this one. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it and peace out.